this video short. I've talked about this in the past. I've talked about the 3 different types of trances that a client can go into. What I'll do to make it easy, because this should be a quick recap video, is I'll leave that link below. You guys can check out the video. It's going to be really, really helpful for your success as a therapist. But what I mean by this, all in all, it really umbrellas the point of what I call dirty trances. Essentially, if you force a client into a technique, you force a client to be relaxed, you force a client to go somewhere in trance, and what they do is bring in all their old hang-ups, their old bad luggage, all their old thoughts, all bad feelings, all the negative associations according to the problem and how many times they failed with this problem, they'll bring all of this stuff with them. So a lot of therapists and coaches talk about, as long as I relax my client, they'll go to a place where I have instant contact with the unconscious mind. That might be the case in some rare, very rare cases. But if you don't, what I call untangle a client's thoughts, you get rid of them, we call them knots. It's like when the mind is all caught up and knotted, all the negative associations and emotions to the problem. All they'll do is now you're going to put them into a relaxed trance state, and they're going to bring all of that dirtiness with them. All of the associations, all the knots, doesn't matter how good the therapy is, all they've done is brought in all that old bad stuff with them. They pop out the other end of trance, bringing in all that old stuff with them again because it hasn't been untied or let go of, and thus you have a client who feels the exact same as when they went in. I talk about this in one of our hypnosis trainings, that think of hypnosis like trance as like a room, okay? You can have a client go into this room where all the resources are waiting for them, all the good stuff, all the answers, the insights of their problems are waiting for them. However, they have to leave all their old crap at the door, because all they do is they go into this room with all their old stuff, they'll just dirty all the good stuff that's in there. It's sort of like if I wanted to have a clean glass of water and I had a dirty cup and that's all I could use to drink that water, I'd rinse out the cup first and then drink the water. If, however, I pour water into the dirty glass, drink the water is now dirty. Hopefully that metaphor carries over and makes sense. So you get my point. If you send a client into a relaxed place or a trance place without untying all the knots and get rid of their bad associations to their problem, they'll bring in all their old luggage with them, all their old baggage, all their old bad stuff with them. Thus, they'll pop out of trance the other end, and it'll be exactly the same. And it doesn't matter how many times you do this. Like people talk about, as long as I do the same thing and repeat it 6 or 7 times, the mind will finally link up to other parts of the mind. It'll fire in different places, all that sort of stuff. You're banking on repetition. It doesn't matter how many times I repeat all the wrong things are the wrong things. If I keep sending my client into this trance space with all their old knots and bad associations, doesn't matter how many times I do it, they'll keep going into the same place with all the other bad stuff. So the best thing you can do, guys, to avoid dirty trances, to allow them to go into this room where it's nice and clean and anything's possible, untie those knots. Do the therapy first. Break down their old assumptions, collapse their realities, however you want to call it. We call it untying knots and collapsing realities in ACH. But what it really means is I've got to have them let go of the problem. They have to let go of the thoughts, the associations, the assumptions, the conclusions, because I want them to go into this room where anything's possible. There's no hang-ups. There's no, well, this won't work because, or I've tried this in the past, it didn't work because. Get rid of all of those things and have them go into this trance place where there's a lot of good resources without all their old baggage. You'll find the breakthroughs your clients have are so quick. I think the reason why, and I pretty much guarantee this, why most people need to see their clients over and over and over and over, because they're creating dirty trances. They're not having their client let go or untie these knots first. That's why we talk about doing the therapy first. So all in all, guys, don't be too quick to put your client into trance. Don't be too quick to relax them. Untie those knots. Get rid of those bad associations first, because if you don't, they're just going to drag all of those things with them, no matter how good the trance is, no matter how good the therapy is. They're just going to bring all of that bad stuff with them. Now, if you want to know more about that, click on the video below where I talk about 3 types of trances. I'll go into more detail there. But that's ultimately the best thing, guys, to avoid these dirty trances.